Are you the one who starts the best conversations on Facebook, WhatsApp, or in the group chat? If so, this is the podcast for you. Hi, I'm Eva.
And I'm Don, and welcome to Chat and Bother. This is a 15-minute podcast where we start conversations and you and your circle finish them. So go ahead and share this episode with a friend or family member so they can listen to it and you can talk about it together.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Today's question is, what did you want to be when you grew up? I know that changes over time for people. Did you have something that you always wanted to be that you still secretly want to be, or did that kind of evolve and change over time?
It evolved. First, I wanted to be a cowboy.
What made you want to do that from Delaware? They got Delaware cowboys? You have encounters with cows and horses?
No, I watched a lot of cowboy westerns and kung fu.
Why? Wait a minute. You said kung fu. That ain't got nothing to do with cowboys.
Well, kung fu was a western. David Carradine.
I did watch that too. I watched Kung Fu.
Yeah.
That was my show.
So that was like a crossover for me to help me to transition into black belt theater and all that stuff. But all of that led up to me wanting to be a stuntman. I wanted to do stunts and blow things up and jump out of buildings and make cars do stunts.
And that was your occupation that you said when people asked you, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And you said, I want to be a stuntman.
I don't think I ever verbalized that.
You just sat there and said, yeah, that's me.
My dad was a plumber, so people always would ask me, hey, do you want to be a plumber?
That happened to me a lot.
So I just smiled whenever they would ask that. And
people got offended.
Yeah.
It said, you're going to be a doctor like your mom. And I'm like, this is gross. I absolutely do not want to do this. Do you know that sick people come in here every day? No. Why? It was so confusing to me. Why would this be an aspiration? Why would I want to do this?
The questions will be coming from somebody who we just spent an hour and a half in your dank basement messing with the pipes that you clogged up. And then you got the nerve to ask me, is that what I want to do for a living?
For the rest of your life.
No shade to that because that put a lot of food on the table.
Absolutely.
I love
I'm happy that you learned how to do it.
Because now I can still do things in the pinch around the house.
Yes. When we were not in an apartment, man, I saw you lift a whole toilet up and replace the little wax ring. And I was like, okay, yeah. Useful people. You know, Caribbean women, black women, we love a useful man. You can play with computers all day, but if you lift up a toilet, that's it.
Now, watch it.
Who was your role model for stunt manning?
Oh, easily. The Fall Guy. Clearly, I watched way too much TV.
Yeah, we've gone from Kung Fu to The Fall Guy, and the time of night that came on, you should have been in the bed. I mean, I should have been in the bed because I too was watching that show. But that's not the point.
How do you know that I should have been in
the bed? Neither of us should have been watching that show.
Right. So I still remember the lyrics to the song.
What's the lyrics? I bet you I know
I might jump an open drawbridge. I might spoil my brand new car. I'm the unknown stuntman that makes Eastwood go so far.
See, I know the theme, the music.
Yeah.
But I did not pick out those words at all. And none of them. So you were invested.
Yeah, I loved Colt Seaver. Didn't want to be his little sidekick, but, I wanted to be him. He was both stuntman and star of the show.
Which is you in a nutshell.
What?
Everyone, look at me. I'm going to jump off of something now.
Watch me do something very dangerous and risky that no one else can do.
Well, see, yeah, it was confusing to me because I know that you like to be in front.
Yeah.
And a stuntman is barely credited. So that show gave you a false sense.
Yeah, because I saw him as the star of the show. I guess it didn't dawn on me at the time that he was somebody's stunt double. In the lyrics, he says he was the one that made Eastwood go so far.
Yeah. But you didn't take in any of that.
I just heard, I saw he had a cool truck. He did stunts. He was a bounty hunter. He had his little side gig.
I'm glad you never said this was your goal out loud.
Why, you wouldn't marry me?
No. I'm saying your mom probably would have been really bothered that you just want to spend all the time you can in the hospital. I think she had enough.
She knew because every day I came home with a new scar or something like that.
Or injury, or she gets a call that you need to go to the hospital.
Right. Meet me at the hospital. I got your son.
Right? That's a lot. I did not want to be a physician. I did want to be an attorney, but not the type of attorney my dad was. My dad, before he retired, was the type of attorney who dealt with children and families and divorce, and he was a family lawyer. And I didn't like people that much. And I thought that's why I didn't want to do that until I got to law school and was like, oh, I don't want to do this because I have feelings.
Right.
And if you have feelings, that is not a nice job to have. Like,
you can't have any empathy.
Well, you can have it in order to do your job, but you have to leave it there.
I remember when you were going through law school, you would come home and the cases that they had you reviewing.
Just reading, and those are over.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so things I cannot do. Criminal law. These people are insane.
Yeah.
Like, the truth is so much stranger than fiction. Can't do that. Immigration was what I really wanted to do because I knew family was not going to be it. I loved the class. That was really, really interesting. Had no intention of doing it. And then I said, you know what? Immigration is what's near and dear to my heart. It's what I want to do. I went to the court and was like, absolutely not. I spent the day there watching families have to figure out how they're going to survive if they get sent back to places that are like extremely hostile, abusive partners, just all kinds of stuff. And then you see the little kids in the courtroom just sitting there playing, just oblivious to what could happen to them at the stroke of this man's pen. And I said, nope, that's not going to work for me. And then sitting among the lawyers who clearly they figured out how not to feel anything. They just move from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And
they're thinking about lunch and not.
Yeah, they're like, so where are we going to go to lunch next? And I understand that you have to have that to function.
Yeah.
But I know that I couldn't live that way. That's not going to work. So I got through crim law by, they have these study guides that are actually cartoons. So I used that.
Wait.
Yes, they have the cases condensed into drawings and cartoons.
So the Cliff Notes or Spark Notes.
Yes, the Cliff Notes. We talked about that in another episode. But yes, I am a strong believer in study guides and Cliff Notes. And that needed to be amusing or something in some way, because just straight reading those cases, like you can't sleep. I don't know how people do that.
Before you went to law school, we used to watch all the law shows.
Can't watch them now.
The criminal intent,
absolutely
SVU.
No. You find out that a lot of that stuff is based on real life, and it's the mild version. That is the sanitized version that you're getting on TV.
See,
it's too much. It's too much. And I don't know how people do it every day. I know someone has to do it, but I think it takes a very special person with a special personality who can compartmentalize their work and their personal lives, like therapists. You know, people would always say to me, hey, you know, you should go into counseling. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because I always say I don't like people, but I really do like humans and humanity. Individuals, remains to be seen. But I don't like to know that horrible things are happening to people en masse. Do I still love the law? Absolutely. But contracts are more my thing.
You wanted to do more corporate.
Yes, that was my original plan. And then I said, you know what, immigration is really close to my heart. And then I realized you don't need your job to be that close to your heart. But I really can't think of anything else that I had wanted to be.
Besides a lawyer.
Besides a business person, an entrepreneur.
It gives me Lord Business.
That was me. That was me. Lord Business. That was what I was going to do. I had turned my room into an office space at one point. My mom had those old charge machines, the credit card machines that you run the thing across. So once they stopped using those, she would give them to me. Any old forms that she had that were obsolete, she would give those to me. And I was so excited. Okay. I would bring those home. I would iron my money. Okay, that's a little much. I shouldn't tell people that.
There's a lot to unpack there between excitement about the forms, the old forms coming in the house.
Forms. Oh my gosh, carbon copies. You couldn't tell me nothing about
carbon copies.
It's carbon copies, and they would come in triplicate. And then they had
the yellow.
Yes, they had different colors. You knew where I was going. They had different colors. And then one form would be a little bit longer than the next. And then the other one's a little bit longer than the next. See, I'm getting way too excited about forms.
I know what you're talking about because my dad had those. Like, he would write receipts on them.
Yes, and you have the little metal thing, like the clipboard. Like, my mom was obsessed with going paperless in her office. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Paper is amazing. I don't understand why anyone would want to be paperless. Like, why would you want?
Wait, this is like in what, the 80s? But she's talking about going to paperless?
80s, 90s, yes. She was.
That's wild that she was that far ahead.
She was ahead of the game. She had computers and she had like networked stations all in the office. Like, it was some state-of-the-art business going on in there. She had figured out how to, because, scanners were a little different then. Like, the amount of space that a scanned document took up, it was really difficult to have
a digital version
of everybody's chart. If they're coming in, some people who, if they have a chronic illness like asthma, they're coming in every 2 months, and they have a lot of different forms and stuff like that. But man, she had figured out electronic filing for insurance.
Man, if she'd have had Google Drive back then, she'd have been.
What? Man, if they had the tablets where you could like sign in and all that other stuff, you wouldn't be able to tell her nothing today. So nothing.
She was way ahead of her time.
She was way ahead of her time, and I liked the business aspect of the way that she did things. I did not like that she had to deal with sick people to get to the business. I mean, it's a hurdle that I am not willing to jump. Okay, just give me the paper.
I'm noticing a trend.
And the forms.
Don't deal with the people. Give me the forms.
Give me the forms and the paper and the coins. That would be nice. Stuntman Don. How did we move from stuntman? Because I haven't changed much. From age
so there was a hop
to now.
The other thing I liked about stuntman, besides like trying to do the tricks, was the explosions. And
I know your mom was thrilled about that.
I have to give her this. She's always been supportive. I asked her for a chemistry set.
Oh, no.
I said, maybe I could be a chemist. I thought, you know what? By that point, I had started to be a part of this engineering on-ramp program, and they were always introducing us to different types of engineers. I heard them mention a chemical engineer. I was like, I could do that. I like blowing stuff up.
That is not at all what that
means.
And
of course that's not what it was. And when I got to like chemistry class in high school, it was like, wait a minute.
This is medicines and stuff to help people.
This is just turning something from blue to red. I don't want that. I don't want to do titrations all day. Luckily, one of my neighbors was a computer programmer, systems analyst, and he took me under his wing and was like, hey, come here, sit down in front of this computer. I'm going to show you something. And that sort of put me on the trajectory that I'm on now with computer science and everything. So thank you, Mr. Wayne, for pulling me aside and
Thank you, Mr. Wayne. I was not going to marry a stuntman.
Or a chemist that wanted to blow
focused on blowing up things.
Only wanted to blow things up. Yeah, so the chemistry thing was short-lived because when that little chemical experiment kit that my mom gave me, while it had a microscope and other stuff in it, none of it blew up. I think she knew that. She probably bought me that gift.
Absolutely. She probably researched that and was like, let me check for explosives. So if you could pick a side gig, what would that be? I know I've heard you talk about coaching because you love football. If you could pick a side gig, like you might get a little check or something, but it is 99%, I just love doing this. What would that gig be?
I think teaching.
Really?
I know there's a lot of kids out there. I had, my parents got divorced, but I had a lot of time with my dad. And there's not a lot of people that did. Not a lot of kids out here that have a male figure that would pour into them and invest their time and energy into them.
And you had several.
I had a lot. I had a village of them.
That's awesome.
And so between my uncles, my neighbors, my father, adopted fathers, and mentors,
Church.
Exactly. I've had lots of people pour into me over time. And I think when I look back at why I like mentoring the founders that I've mentored, even coaching and managing some of the people that I manage at work, it's because I want to see the same kind of investments that even some of my managers made in me.
I can see you as a teacher, and that would be my side gig too, that would be purely for fulfillment. Isn't that stunning? Not necessarily coaching, but definitely teaching. I do enjoy doing that. And the technology that we have now lends itself to the type of teaching that I would like to do that is hands-off enough that I am not getting attached. For somebody who is as non-emotional, I guess, that people assume that I am, I have a lot of big feelings. And I think that's probably why I stay away from a lot of people, because I can feel lots of big feelings, and that's not always comfortable. So virtual teaching, that's made for me. I can connect with you just enough, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, the connection is gone. Click. I wouldn't do that, but you know what I mean.
You coached when you were in school.
Yes, I did. I was a dance and cheer coach for the Boys and Girls Club. And my goodness, I loved those babies so much. It was just, But you have those, when you have a heart for that kind of service, you have to be able to manage everything that comes with that. And I'm wondering why this girl is so sweet this day and having the worst day this day. And she's dealing with sickle cell, which affects her mood and how her joints feel. And also, but she wants to dance really badly. You have another kid, and I'm telling them, listen, when you come, you have to wear sneakers because you could injure yourself. This girl wears flip-flops every day. And I'm like, in my brain, because I was in my late teens, early 20s, I'm thinking she's just being defiant, or I can't tell her to take her shoes off, because that's dangerous. And I would see her little sister always had sneakers. And I would see her take off her sneakers when she got there so that her little sister could dance. See, these are the kinds of things that make me be like, nah, fam, nope, I can't do it. So yeah, I need to do virtual teaching of probably adults. I know that it has to be done. There has to be somebody who goes out and does these things. And I did it for 4 years in various places. I did it there. I did it in High Point for 3 years. And then I did it in Georgia for like a year and a half, 2 years. Actually, I take that back. I did it before I left for college as well. I taught kids who I guess they would call underserved today dance for quite some time. And it is fulfilling and heartbreaking.
But I think that's part of the beauty of it, though, is that that you're filling a hole that may go unfilled otherwise.
Man, seeing those kids get to dance in front of their families, oh my goodness, it was wonderful. And then they would raise funds. The director was a great person and would raise funds to make sure the kids had sneakers when it was time to perform. So, you get these moments of hope where it's like, this is really good. Something great is going to come of this. Yeah. Those things always keep pulling me back in. So I probably would end up doing something like that again. I know it's ridiculous. Now that I'm just sitting here thinking about it, it's just, I just want to go out there and pop my back. What's left of my back.
So you go ahead, the little girls out there hollering, oh, Miss Eva popping it, Miss Eva
popping her back. Oh, Lord, somebody call the ambulance. She literally popped her back. Anyway, I guess I would do that. I got to go to work.
And I got to go to work.
This was a wonderful conversation. In the comments, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, or when you share it, answer or ask the question, what did you want to be when you grew up and why? You can learn so much about yourself and your family members and your friends and why they are the way that they are. So we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us for Chat and Bother. Go ahead and like our Facebook page and share this episode with people that you want to chat with or just feel like bothering, or both. Visit our website, chatandbother.com, for our episode guide and other ways to connect with us. Take care.